In this video, we're going to consider the curve given by 4x minus xy plus 2y squared equals 2, and we're going to find the first derivative. So we find the first derivative. We're going to do this implicitly, so I'm going to start by taking the derivative of 4x, which would be 4 dx dx. And then it looks like we have a product rule, so I've got my red and I've got my green. The derivative of my red would be negative dx dx. Then we keep the green the way it is. Then we use addition. And then take the derivative of, or keep the red the way it is, so negative x. The derivative of the green would be dy dx. Then we're going to take the derivative of 2y squared, which would be 4y dy dx. And the derivative of 2 would be 0. So now we're going to collect all of our dx's on the right and the dy dx's on the left. As I move the dx dx's, I'm going to change them into 1. So this is going to be negative 4, and this one's going to be negative or positive y. And then I'm keeping the dy dx's on the left side, so negative x dy dx plus 4y dy dx. And then we're going to factor out the dy dx. And we're left with negative x plus 4y equals negative 4 plus y. And then we're going to divide by this here. So dy dx equals negative 4 plus y over negative x plus 4y. Now we're supposed to write the equations of the tangent line when x equals 1. So we need two things to write an equation of a tangent line, a point and a slope. Currently, I have neither one of those things. So I'm going to start by taking this and plugging it into the original equation to try to solve for my y. And it might be ugly because I just made the numbers up. So we've got 4 times negative 1 minus negative 1y plus 2y squared equals 2. So let's see, we've got negative 4 plus y plus 2y squared equals 2. We are going to take this and subtract it to the other side. That's not good. That's going to be super ugly. Okay, so I'm going to make an adjustment to the problem only because it won't affect anything. So I am going to make this equal to, because it would have still been 0 there. So I'm going to make this equal to negative 4. So this is going to become negative 4, and this is going to become negative 4. So I am going to move this over to the other side by adding it, which would make this 0. So I have 2y squared plus y equals 0. I am going to choose to take out a greatest common factor of y, which would give me 2y plus 1 left behind. So I know that I have y equal to 0 and 2y plus 1 equal to 0 by the zero product property. So we get 2y equals negative 1 and y equals negative 1/2. So I technically have two equations of tangent lines. One of them is going to be at the point negative 1, 0. And one of them is going to be at the point negative 1, negative 1/2. All right, now we need to find the slope when x equals negative 1 and y equals each one of those things. It's probably going to be messy. So I'm going to probably make it really ugly looking. So we're going to plug into that. So I'm going to start for the point negative 1, 0. So dy dx for negative 1, 0 equals negative 4 plus 0 over negative 1 plus 4 times 0. So that's a double negative is going to go positive. We've got negative 4 over 1, which is just negative 4. So the equation of that tangent line would be y minus the y value of 0 equals the slope -4 times x minus -1. You could leave it just like that. You could change it to positive. You could drop the 0. All right, let's look at the second equation of the tangent line, which would be for -1, -1/2. So derivative evaluated at -1, -1/2. So I'm going into my derivative right there. So that is -4 plus the -1/2 for the y over -1 plus 4 times -1/2. All right, it's just ugly because we've got the fractions. Hopefully we won't do that to you on the quiz. So I am going to change this into, this is the same as saying -8/2. So -8/2 and -1/2 would be -9/2. In my denominator here, the good news is the 2 goes into the 4 twice. So I've really got -1 minus 2. So I've got -9/2 over -3, or -3 over 1. So I've got -9/2 times -1/3. So it's not as bad as it seemed before. So that's going to reduce to 3. So -3/2 is my slope. So my equation of my tangent line would be y minus the y value of -1/2 equals my slope -3/2 times x minus -1. So all the negatives go positive. And that's where I would leave that.